So we're going to work on kind of the last step of recall, and we've got Raider here again. Got my long line, even though we're in a fenced area, so that I can enforce the recall if he doesn't listen. So basically, the last step of teaching recall and really making it reliable is just switching things up. So doing longer distances before you ask for it, or not being excited at all, or using an angry voice when you call for them. That's something I've been doing with my boys lately, and just use an angry voice, have them come to me, and then love on them and let them go. Because you want your dog to listen to that recall no matter what. So that's another difficulty. A big one that a lot of people don't work on is requesting a recall when you're not facing your dog. A lot of the time if you're not facing your dog, they think, I don't need to listen, because they require that face-to-face interaction. So that's another thing you can work on slowly, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to make sure my long line is in my hand before I send him off so I can enforce it. Raider, come. Yes. Okay. So with that one, I added a couple things in. I turned my body away from him, which is the first step of requesting a recall when you're not facing your dog, is just facing them at first, turning away, so that it's just that little bit of difficulty, and then you can build on it and slowly, turn as soon as you say the word, working up to the point where you can be walking away from your dog and request that recall. I used kind of a more level tone. I wasn't excitable at all. So these are all things that you can work on, just increasing that difficulty with your dog. And I will show you one more time. He's thrilled. We don't do training with treats very much anymore since he's older. Raider, come. Yes. Okay. Good boy. A last note. Oh, we've got an ambulance going by. Sorry about that. A last note on recall is you can always encourage. It's never a bad idea to tell your dog, yes, good, you're doing great. At first with dogs, especially puppies that I'm training, I talk to them consistently. I'm consistently telling them, good, yes, awesome, good job. And you can just slowly phase that out the same way with the treats. So just play around with that. Let me know if you have questions. Keep in mind, if you go to a new area, that they might need to go back to step one, and that's okay. They'll probably go through it a lot faster and increase in the steps a lot faster than originally. So keep that in mind. Be patient with your dog. Work with them where they're at, and mostly be reliable and consistent with your training, especially on recall.